Yeah. And of course, Add-in 365 and Mediacom have been working together recently to
Yes.
refresh your digital employee experience on Microsoft 365. How did Add-in 365's Creative and Page Kit allow you to sort of unleash your brand and your vision across that employee experience?
Well, it's been a really awesome partnership, I'll say, first and foremost. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you, Susie. I would say that to anyone. But it really allowed us to completely customize our digital experience. And that was something that I loved so much. It was nothing cookie cutter or one size fits all. And I think that that is so important specifically for us because we were able to completely customize the platform, design bespoke pages for really what we needed. It wasn't the other way around, right? It wasn't us trying to fit into what you think a brand needs. It was us saying, this is what we need, and let's create it from scratch. And that, plus the people that you have on your team that helped us kind of bring that to life,
Yeah,
it was just the perfect marriage. But really, it was the fact that it's a blank canvas.
yeah.
That's what helped us kind of create the best digital experience.
Well, I could say that as a client, you had incredibly strong vision, a brilliant set of brand guidelines to work with, and that hot pink on white is one of the best looking things I've seen in a really long time. So thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for your partnership. I mean, I've really enjoyed seeing your employee experience platform come to life from concept stage to having those live sites being used by the team. Which latest digital design trends have you been most excited to incorporate into that experience? And why do you think strong visuals are so powerful when conveying messaging?
Um, the first part of that question, I think I said this earlier, but we are definitely more timeless than trendy. However, if we were to consider any kind of digital design trends, I think it's really flat design. Flat design is nothing completely new or groundbreaking, um, but it just works so well for what we do as Mediacom. It's simple, it's to the point, it's clean, it's concise. And for a digital experience, that's what we as Mediacom needed. So it was great to be able to, like, for instance, customize the icons in the top left of the toolbar. We could bring our flat design icons that we custom create and bring them into the platform. And just those kind of little tweaks just made
Yeah,
it feel so much more us. So I would say that trend definitely was great to kind of bring in because it's part of our brand guidelines. So to weave that back into the digital site, it just felt like a natural fit. The second part of that question, visuals are just basically the heart of our branding, our visual
yeah,
identity, as I should say. Um, like I said earlier, seeing the bigger picture, obviously you can imagine that beautiful, authentic, real, feel good imagery just helps to tell that story. It goes hand in hand. So being able to use visuals in the way that we wanted from our specific image libraries, it was so crucial. I mean, for instance, we have an internal photo competition that we do at Mediacom every year. It's called Pick Me. And we ask our employees to submit their photos. It can be anything. It can be from a trip you had to Paris. It can be from, right outside of your living room, a great sunset, whatever. But we were able to then put those Pick Me competition photos onto our site. So we're not only bringing our employees' story to life in a digital way, but we're putting them at the forefront. And I think as an employee, that's so exciting to see. Wow, they're using my artwork. Wow, that's my picture. And I think that's just such a nice way to not only bring your brand into the digital experience, but also bring your people in.
mm,
And that's
yeah.
equally as important, if not more.
It really helps to build a sense of connectedness, doesn't it, through the network?
Absolutely.
How
And it just
can
looks great. So,
oh,
that helps.
we I agree. We're big fans of it at Add-in 365. We've got a long running photo gallery,
Love that.
which is brilliant, and I catch people flicking through it all the time. I think it really does make people feel great. So how do you think the design of your new employee experience can capture the attention and imagination of your workforce, because you are a global business?
Mhm. I think that first and foremost, it has to be thoughtfully designed, meaning that it has to be both functional and beautiful, right? So your site can be amazing and gorgeous and, but it can't be all smoke and mirrors, because at the end of the day, your people need to be able to access the site in a way that helps them to find
Yeah.
information, to find news effectively and efficiently. Um, and it needs to bring their attention to the things that we want to bring their attention to, right? So I think that in that way, the design has to always be people first. And that's one of our that's how we think always at Mediacom, or always strive to think. But I think that translates for any brand or any company. It's people first and design second.
And I suppose on that note, what advice would you give brand leaders that are looking to um, start a program of internal marketing to help reinforce their brand?
I would say be authentic and be true
Yeah,
to you. I think that employees know, for lack of a better term, employees know when you're bullshitting.
yeah,
And the design space that you use needs to be accessible and agile, but it needs to, you know, get their attention and bring them the information that they want, effortlessly, right?
yeah.
And in terms of internal marketing, I mean, I am no expert in this field by any means, but humbly, I would say that really look at how your employees talk about your brand and start there. So use that narrative to inform the company
Yeah.
narrative and the story that you tell externally, because your people are your best examples of your brand, and how they tell the story is how you should be talking about it as well.
It's really interesting because early you were talking about providing the organisation with assets to support them when they're making decisions, but in the end
Mhm.
they're going to make their own minds up. And now
Yeah,
you've just talked about taking what your brand is, the cue for that from your employees, which is really interesting because it shows it's a completely symbiotic relationship. You know, you are your
absolutely.
people and your people are your brand, and actually it's your employees that lead on that. With branding crystallizing it more than anything else, it's just a really clear way of capturing that. When do you think is a brand or sort of design complete? Because, you know, if it comes from the workforce, and in lots of instances, there's ongoing churn, isn't there? And
Yeah.
so organizations' culture can change over time. Does a brand evolve with that the whole time?
I don't think a brand is ever complete. Um, I think it's always changing and evolving. I think the fundamentals, the foundation, yes, but your brand needs to evolve with consumers, with platforms, with how people engage. So I personally don't think it's ever complete. It's an ongoing process. It's a labor of love, and you just got to roll with it and
Yeah.
adapt, really.
Yeah. And do you think longevity is achievable for a company without harnessing an active brand design model?
In this day and age, I don't. I think that you need to be agile and fluid in the way that you approach your brand. Sustainable, active brand design model. It has to, I just keep saying evolve, but it really
Yeah.
needs to continue to evolve in order for a company and its people and its consumers to kind of stay attracted and engaged.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, what are your trends? What's hot for 2022?
What's hot for 2022? Doing good is hot for 2022. um, Brands that are socially conscious are hot for 2022. I mean, there's so many visual trends that I could say, like, retrofuturism and gradient noise and all this stuff. And I love gradient noise, don't get me wrong. But I really think that it's brands that do good, that actually care, those are the ones that have staying power.
Yeah, yeah. I see that all over the place, as long as they don't look too far down their supply chains.
Exactly.
Alexandra, thank you so much. Mediacom's
Thank
head
you,
of
Suzy.
brand. Thank you for giving
It's
us
been
your
a
insight.
pleasure.
Thank you.
Anytime. Happy to share. Thank you again for having me.
Thank you.